And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Acceleracers Hub for another video. Hopefully you guys are all doing awesome today. So for today's video, guys, we're going to be picking up where we left off in the most difficult realm rankings that I started a little while ago. So we're going to be picking up right where we left off in that last video, guys, and going all the way to the most difficult realm, in my opinion, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to be starting off at number 12. If you remember last time, we finished at 14 was the Chrome Realm, and number 13 was the Desert Realm. So at number 12, I have the Neon Pipeline Realm. Reading the card description, it says the so-called Neon Pipeline's 360 track unnerves most racers because it forces them to drive at all angles, even upside down, to complete the course. So the reason that I have this one a little bit higher up than some of the other more basic realms is because while it does have obstacles to dodge, you know, the big blocks that shoot out of the track and you have to dodge them. We saw Scirocco run into a couple of them, or at least the drones hit a couple of them. But the reason I have this one a little bit higher than simply other realms that have dodging obstacles is because you do still have to worry about the doors closing on you. So there is a time aspect to it as well. You have to use speed and, you know, you have to pay attention to dodge the blocks. So there's a little bit more pressure on it. And also, I love this shot of the Pipeline Realm. There's just a lot going on in this realm. You have to find the right path to the end of the track. Look at all these different paths that you can take. And there are several spots on the track where there are simply gaps in the pipeline. Like I think it was Nolo who used the Swamp Realm Acceleracharger to bridge a chasm from one pipe to another. So there's definitely some obstacles that you would have to turn around, you know, if you didn't have an Acceleracharger. So the Pipeline Realm definitely is no joke. And moving into number 11, we have the Solar Realm. Reading the card description, it says, speed is the key to dodging solar flares from the sun that blazes beneath the track. So floor it, smear on the SPF 1 million, and hope your tires don't melt. So the Solar Realm, I think, would definitely be a beast. Just from my basic understanding, I think it's sort of a mix between the Cosmic Realm and the Lava Realm, where you're dodging, you know, plumes of lava and solar flares while, you know, having to stay on the track. It sort of looks like it's in space. And here is the solar flare hazard card. An eruption of hydrogen gas lights up the sky as the sun spits a flare of solar fire right across the track. One hit by something like that and your car is pretty much toast. So this realm definitely has no room for error. And moving into the top 10, we have the Fog Realm. A thick fog hides gigantic obstacles and treacherous switchbacks that twist drivers into each other. This realm is definitely a beast, and not having good visibility in any sort of race or road is an absolutely huge obstacle, so you'll have to drive through the Fog Realm pretty slowly. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be many hazards that, you know, are actively coming after you or that you would run into by simply taking your time, so you just have to drive super slow through the Fog Realm. After all, if you run into a spire slalom that is sticking out of the track, it is going to be bad news for you. So this is a track where you simply just have to pay attention and drive super, super slow to get through it. And moving into number 9, we have the Junk Realm. Love this card art on it with the big wrecking ball knocking a car right off of the track. So the Junk Realm has all sorts of hazards in it. There's just mountains of garbage all over the track. We saw it in the movies. Sometimes these walls of trash can come toppling down. There's the big mechanoid destroyer creature that is in there as well that can knock cars off the track. We have the wrecking balls. We have the giant magnet that picked up reverb at one point. And here is a shot of those wrecking balls that were knocking cars off the tracks. I think they hit Wild and they hit one of the silencers as well. These suckers are absolutely no joke at all. So the Junk Realm definitely has a bevy of obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. Not to mention simply just dodging all the junk that's on the track. I mean, in the movies, we didn't see them hit anything that was too terrible, but I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff with nails and spikes on it that's laying on the track. And losing a tire real quick would have adverse effects on your ability to win the realm for sure. So because of all the varying hazards in this realm, I have the Junk Realm at number 9. Moving on to number 8, we have the Labyrinth Realm. The Labyrinth track's infinite tangle of twists and turns can totally confuse careless drivers, and then its savage maze minotaurs will totally trash them. So one of the biggest things for me in this realm is just noticing how tall these walls are. These are absolutely massive compared to the car in the photo. You can see it there down in the bottom middle in between the white box and the Labyrinth Realm. It is absolutely tiny, so these walls are gigantic. So it really is like driving through a maze that you have no chance of telling where you're going. And look at how tight those walls are together. And not to mention the Maze Minotaur, half bull, half man. It's a toss-up which part of the Maze Minotaur is more dangerous, the ultra-sharp horns on its head or the massive stone hammer in its hands. Look at the size of the Maze Minotaur compared to RD-08. That is a beefy drones car, and the Maze Minotaur is like twice the size of it. That is an absolutely nasty hazard. I can't imagine. It's hard enough, you know, to drive and having to stop suddenly when you hit dead ends in this realm, but having to dodge these suckers too, this realm would be a definite beast. Moving on to number 7, we have the Wind Realm. A savage vortex of wind batters racers with car-swallowing tornadoes, furiously swaying tracks, and wind-blown debris that flies at supersonic speeds. The Wind Realm would be an absolute beast, guys. At first, I really didn't think the Wind Realm was going to be that difficult. You know, just dodge the tornadoes and you're set. But in the car description where it says, the track is swaying as well from the tornadoes, now that is a different animal. If the track itself is blowing all over the place, it would be a nightmare to try and stay on it. And then, of course, we have the tornado vortex hazard. You've been scooped up by the 200-mile-per-hour winds of a Class 4 tornado. So these are the tornadoes that are all over this track, guys. But with the track swaying and the debris that's flying all around this realm, I think it would be an absolute nightmare to drive through. And similar to the fog realm, I'm sure with tornadoes and heavy winds and debris, it is not very easy to see on this track at all. I'm sure the visibility is low. So that is why I had the wind realm right up there at number 7. And moving on to number 6, we have the Ice Realm, an unstable plain atop a huge glacier. The ice track suffers massive geological disruptions, including the impact of falling icicles as huge as skyscrapers that are crushing onto the track in this photo here. Look at the size of that big pillar of ice. That is an absolute beast. We didn't see that whole lot of that in the movies, but this track was an absolute nightmare. I mean, anyone that's ever been up north in the wintertime knows how treacherous driving on ice can be. Any sort of ice, snow, all that stuff is an absolute nightmare to deal with. I know that the drivers have, good tires and equipment that can handle it, but it definitely does not make it easy. And there's nothing worse than losing control of your car on the ice. That is for sure. So this is a shot of the Ice Realm. We saw it in the movies in several parts. The track was actually completely frozen over. It was like they were driving on the ice that was on top of the track, on top of a glacier. So that is just an absolute beast to deal with. And even driving slowly through this probably wouldn't help you. I mean, if there's no traction on the track, there's not much you can do. So the Ice Realm would be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And if there truly is falling ice like glaciers and the ice as big as skyscrapers, like I said in the Ice Realm card description, that would make this realm even more nasty. So I have the Ice Realm up at number 6. And moving into the top 5, we have the Cybergrid Realm, a giant supercharged circuit board. The Cybergrid track is a maze of 90-degree turns policed by electronic countermeasures that hunt down cars and burn them to bites. So this track, lots of 90-degree turns, sharp angles, lots of electricity on the track as well. And those electronic countermeasures that are hunting down cars would make this track even tougher. You got to go slow around the corners, and you're dealing with these things chasing your cars, trying to burn you to pieces. And here's the electric fry hazard card. A surge of electricity shorts out all electrical systems in your car. So imagine you get shocked with the electric fry, and then you're just sitting there stuck waiting for your car systems to, come online, and you get zapped by an electronic countermeasure. This track would be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Any of these realms that, have creatures that are actively hunting down your cars make this so much more difficult to win these realms. So I have the Cybergrid Realm at number 5. Moving into number 4, the Swamp Realm. It's alive. This organic track sprouts from a fetid swamp and winds up around towering trees, growing and branching faster than cars that race on it. The Swamp Realm was an absolute beast in the movies. We know that unless Nolo won that track, there's a chance that none of the drivers would have made it out of there, because it sure didn't look like any of the drone cars were going to make it out of the realm either. And the hazards really don't stop until someone wins the realm. So there's a very good chance that all the drivers could have been stranded in the Swamp Realm had Nolo not won this realm. There were just hazards on top of hazards on top of hazards, and they were almost all alive as well, which makes it even more difficult. It's not like most of the realms where there's 1 or 2 hazards that are chasing you. We have this guy. I call him a Moscarilla, even though, there's the discrepancy of the Moscarillas being in the forest realm, but I personally think that's what a Moscarilla would have looked like. Then, of course, we have the Swamp Beast himself that was controlling all the vines that went throughout the realm. We have the Behemoth mosquitoes. We've got all sorts of nasty stuff. And of course, the biggest hazard was the vines that the Swamp Beast sent out that grabbed almost every single car other than Nolo at one point. But this track would be an absolute beast to get through, just dodging all these hazards, staying in the middle of the track. It is just an absolute nightmare to get through. I have the Swamp Realm at number 4. And at number 3, the Blizzard Realm. The Blizzard track thrusts drivers into a vicious snowstorm with zero visibility, sleet so fierce it punches right through windshields, and snow so deep it buries cars whole. So my whole concept of the Blizzard Realm, a lot of it's up to interpretation, because we did not see it in the movies, is that it is similar to the Ice Realm, but with an active blizzard on the track as well. So it's sort of a combination of the two. It's like the Ice Realm plus a blizzard on top of it. And just reading that card description, snowstorm with zero visibility, sleet punching through windshields, what a nightmare. And of course, there's this beautiful guy, the Ice Yeti. These albino long-haired mountain beasts are born blind but can hunt cars by smell, throwing huge chunks of ice at them with painful accuracy. Look at the size of the Ice Yeti compared to that drone car in this picture. Absolutely massive. So driving through a blizzard, sort of similar to the Ice Realm, probably not much grip on the track, huge droves of snow. This track would just be an absolute terror for everyone involved. Moving on to number 2, we have the Reactor Realm. Don't slow down to dodge the toxic spills throughout the reactor. Dangerous patrol machines are closing in, sweeping the track with laser grids to wipe away anything that moves too slowly. So there are patrol machines flying through this realm on top of the toxic spills and the stuff that can melt through your car. This realm is just a beast. And of course, not mentioned in the card description, we also have these toxic gators, huge mutant alligators that are lunging out of the toxic muck that covers the track. Better kiss your chrome goodbye. So you're sweeping through this realm, dodging toxic spills. You have these toxic gators flying out of the toxic muck, and you have these electronic critters that are chasing you around, trying to burn your car up. And then we have the acid bath. This is what it looks like when the acid falls onto your car, it melts it completely. And here is just one more shot of the Reactor Realm. What a nightmare of a realm. Dodging toxic spills, toxic gators, and the critters that are trying to destroy your car. This is just an absolute nightmare of a track. And I'm sure there's all sorts of visibility issues being in a reactor, lots of smoke and steam. This would be a nightmare. And in the number one spot, we have the Warped Realm. In the Warped Realm, normal physics no longer apply. The track twists in on itself like a knot. Gravity appears to have gone on vacation, and reality itself gets, well, warped. So I have the Warped Realm as the most difficult realm, guys. It's one thing to dodge hazards on a track, and it's another thing to, deal with the drones and the silencers and all those other beings and entities in the realms. But not even being able to tell the direction that you're going on a track is an absolute terror that you can't really get past. Here's another close-up shot of the Warped Realm, but as the track twists and splits and you can't tell where you're going, I mean, just look at the photo in this. You really don't even know where the track is at most points because there's so much distortion going on in this realm, and I really don't think the humans would have stood a chance in this realm because, I mean, if you can't tell where you're going, you really have no chance to win, honestly. I think that the reason the drones won this realm was just because they probably have some sort of ability to not be fooled by illusions. They're probably more analytical than humans and not susceptible to the illusions in this realm. And then, of course, we have the Escher's World Hazard that does belong to the Warped Realm. What the track suddenly spirals like an optical illusion and spins your car out of control. I mean, just look at this. Every single picture that we have of the Warped Realm just looks like an absolute nightmare. Not sure where you're going, driving all over the place, and I'm sure dodging the drones in this realm would be a nightmare as well. I have the Warped Realm as far and away the toughest realm. I don't think there's anything that really can compete with not being able to tell where you're even driving. So that is going to conclude my rankings of all 25 racing realms. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my rankings of the realms from the least difficult to the most difficult. Definitely was a tough decision deciding on some of these because some of them are just pretty freaking tough realms. I can't imagine driving through any of those, but I guess that's what the drones are there for, to take out the tough realms for the humans. But anyways, guys, if you disagreed with any of my choices or you would move anything around, let me know down in the comments section. I'm happy to have an animated debate with you guys down in the comments section. But if you guys enjoyed, be sure to smash the like button for me, subscribe to the Acceleracers Hub for more Acceleracers related content, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out, guys.